So you've been searching for homes for a while and now it's time to make an offer. What do you do when it's time to make an offer? Consult with your realtor. Make sure that your offer is going to be in line with other homes that have sold in the local area, right? So make sure that your agent's pulling comps to make sure that the home is priced right and that you're gonna make an offer that is competitive. The last thing you wanna do is, if it's a home you really like, is come in with some crazy lowball offer thinking the seller's gonna accept it. You know, real estate has to be a win-win. The buyer's gotta be able to get the house for the price he's willing to pay, and the seller's gotta feel like that they maximize top dollar when selling the home. So to find that happy medium, you need to make sure you're looking at homes that have sold comparable in the market to make sure that when you make that offer, it's competitive and that you don't insult the seller and that they don't reject your offer, right off the bat. So typically an agent can pull comps. They can also pull statistics to tell you what homes are selling for based on original list price to sale price. So right now for our particular market, homes are selling at about 98% of list price. So that means there's about a 2% room for negotiation, if you will. And typically this is gonna vary from market to market, city to city, price point to price point, all based on that supply and demand that we've talked so much about. So now that you're a homeowner, you are gonna have routine yearly maintenance that needs to be taken care of on your home. So this is stuff that you can't really account for. This isn't upgrades. This is typical maintenance items like getting your AC cleaned on a yearly basis, having your gutters cleaned, pressure washing the front of the house. Now, all of these are things, sometimes you can take care of them yourself. Sometimes you may need to get a professional to do it, but we like to recommend you earmark about 1% of your purchase price for those yearly maintenance items. So you've got an offer accepted and you've gone under contract. Now, the question is, should you get a home inspection? Of course you should. I even advise my clients to get a home inspection even if the seller has recently had one and provided one, because you could have two home inspectors go through the same house on the same day and have two completely separate reports, two completely different things, because they're just going off of what they see visually. They're all gonna check a lot of the same things, but sometimes they may miss something. So I highly advise all of our clients to get a home inspection done once they go under contract. We believe in it so much that if they actually do not want to get one, we make them sign a form releasing us from any liability, given the fact that they opted not to have a home inspection. One of the things you need to make sure you're always paying attention to when you're putting offers in on houses is to make sure what is included with the sale and what isn't. A lot of times the seller may not be leaving that fridge that's in the kitchen or the freezer that's in the garage. They plan on taking that with them. So a lot of times the MLS will show you line by line what is included in the sale and what is not. If you want the seller to leave the washer and dryer, you can actually write that right into the contract and they can leave those for you. Now, I'm very careful explaining this to my buyers that we're working with, because you don't want to get into asking for the picture hanging on the wall and this chandelier over here that they've excluded from the sale because it was their great-great-grandma's, uncle's, sister's, brother's, sister's, cousin's, aunt's chandelier, because it's a family heirloom. They want to take that with them. So writing that in is probably only going to piss them off when you're trying to get your offer accepted. So trying to keep personal items outside of real estate is always a very good idea.
And it's best practice to discuss it with the selling agent prior to you don't just put it in the contract and hope that
Yes, if there is something that you have to have that you are just dead set on getting, make sure that your agent talks with the other agent on the front end. They don't just write this into the contract. Don't ever talk to the agent about it. Don't give them a heads up and just shoot over a thing that you want the house completely, totally furnished when the furnishings are worth $400,000 or $500,000. Don't do that. That's a no-no. How long does the home buying process take? I typically tell our clients, if you've got, let's say that they're currently renting, if you've got a lease that's expiring in 8 months, guess what? We don't need to start the process yet. That's way too long. You don't need to go be looking at houses for like 7 months and like just to get a good idea of the market. Typically, we like to say it's gonna take about 30 days once you get under contract to close. So if you back that away from your estimated or desired move-in date, then you wanna say about 60 days prior to that. So about 3 months before you want to essentially move into the house is when you should really start the home search process. Any earlier than that, it's gonna be hard probably trying to get a seller that's gonna be willing to extend their delayed closing to meet your timeline. Also too, you don't wanna get out there and look at homes like 6 months before you can actually buy one, because that house is not gonna be available when it's time for you to actually make an offer. So you don't wanna like get your hopes all up and think, oh my God, this is the one! And you can't do anything about it because you're stuck in a lease for the next 5 months. And if it's still on the market 5 months later, run! Run!
Do not buy that house.
And don't use Cloud Mortgage.